Good morning, Kyle Gibbons, operations with Oregon Department of Forestry Team 1 on the shoe fly incident for Thursday, September 5th. And actually it's shoe fly and 2 cabin fires as of last night at 1800, which is 6 p.m. So we'll start off with the 2 cabin incident. Don't currently have a map up here that we'll go over today, but that fire's in the 200 to 300 acre range. Just northeast of Monument, and so we have some resources that are at a spike camp out of Long Creek, and they're currently working on that. So last night trailed a couple of portions of that, so it got in there tighter with hand crews on the north and east flanks of that fire. That fire's been kind of been worked on with a lot of local resources, so landowners, agency folks, Oregon Department of Forestry folks, and then some contractors also. So as far as they have that fire corralled, it's still has some flare-ups, some torching. It's been moving around a little bit, but for the most part, it's been staying in the same footprint for the last 24 hours. So we've taken over command of that incident, and we're supporting it remotely. So things went well last night on that incident, and then we'll be staffed fairly heavy in there today as well. So then moving over to the shoe fly incident, we'll start kind of where the action was. So in Division Quebec here, on the southeast portion or southwest portion of the fire, sorry. As we come along, you can see in this Flock Mountain area, we don't have an updated IR. The fire burned actively yesterday afternoon and then all the way through the night. So our fire perimeter's out here more towards Keys Mountain. And so we started picking up a lot of spot fires. We had some southeast winds yesterday afternoon, and they were lofting embers down into some fairly steep terrain, and we just couldn't stay in front of it. So as far as when you loft embers and you pick up spot fires, we'll try to get crews in there as quick as we can, and aircraft, and try to get around those using water, hand crews, heavy equipment. And so we weren't, there were several of them that were just continuing, and we weren't able to stay in front of those. So we ended up with fire established down here, and then kind of working up around Flock Mountain, and then kind of more into this Keys Mountain area. So there was quite a bit of access opened up last night. Hand crews in the area we're working on getting some roads open and some lines open, and then going direct in areas as well. So just getting right on the edge of the fire and trying to pinch that off. So this is where the active fire has been in the last 24 hours on this incident, and not making major runs, just staying in front of itself, and just kind of a steady chunking to the west here. So definitely an area of focus, kind of surge some resources into there, so that heavy equipment, hand crews, water tenders, and then also that'll be our focal area for aircraft as well. So this is kind of the most active part of the fire. However, holding what we have is definitely a high priority as well. So working to the north into what we're calling Division Zulu, just continue to try to get the lines as tight to the fire's perimeter as possible. So there's areas where that fire line's right on the black. If it's a hand line, road that we're utilizing as a fire line or a dozer line, we have areas where it's right on the black, and then there's areas where that line's, there's a little bit of unburned in between the fire and the line, and so those is where we'll be coming back in and trying to go as tight as possible, minimize the acres and the damages in that area. So and then in some areas in the steep terrain, or if we're limited on resources, the fire will be backing to our fire line. But we're trying to go in there and cut off as much of that as possible, and try to eliminate any potential control issues by leaving that unburned between our fire line and the edge of the fire. And then working around into Division Alpha, very similar to Zulu in this portion. And then as we start to drop down to the south here, There's an old burn scar in there, some really thick reprod, and so there was quite a few spot fires that were out in there. So we're just working the 24-hour shift in that area, like we are on the entire fire, and then just trying to build off of what we've done the shift before. So last night's shift got in, and we have an indirect line in that's a little bit off the edge of the fire. And so we're in there trying to go as direct as possible. So last night, hand crews and equipment combinations worked on that piece, and then we'll just continue that for today's shift. So getting access and then just trying to tighten as much of this stuff as we can back into the black of the fire and those fire lines right on the perimeter. So then working down into Division Lima, very similar right in here where they picked up a bunch of spot fires and some heavies. And then as we get down here towards the Waterman Road area, a lot of this has been mopped up. So we've had crews in there working along those edges, and that fire's been holding fairly well. And then also this piece that slopped over Waterman Road, so to the south. So area of focus, because that fire was wanting to run to the south at one point. So trying to get the alignment in those runs, kind of that potential taken out. So over the last day and a half, huge area of focus down here where the slop over is, trying to corral that, and that's been going really well. So just making sure there's a line on it, and then eliminating that heat along the perimeter, and just kind of working in from the edges. So, and then working back up into Quebec, similar, just trying to hold that line. Things are looking pretty good in this area here as far as Quebec as well. So still plenty of work to do on the incident, on shoe fly and on 2 cabins, and we're continuing to get more and more resources in. So don't have the most favorable weather conditions for September, but we're doing our best with what we have. Thank you.